Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday night, and we are back at the Cobblestone Hotel for another amazing episode of Music Talks. As always, I'm your host, Chelsea Rittenauer. Special thank you to Rick Fike, our cameraman, and to Macaulay Jones of Mackie Music Studios, taking care of all of our sound needs for you, the listeners, and our artists. This week's featured guest is country singer-songwriter Katelyn Rittenauer. Hello, Katelyn.
Hello, Chelsea.
Thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, I know you go by Katelyn Rose on stage. I did just introduce you as Katelyn Rittenauer, but why don't you tell me why you go by Katelyn Rose instead of Katelyn Rittenauer?
Well, first and foremost, like you said, it is my middle name, Rose. And before, as we were talking before break, the reasoning behind my middle name, Rose, and I always have to tell people because there's two people that I was named after. When my mom was pregnant for me, she used to work over at Sarnelli's Market over in Donegal, and she worked in the restaurant. And there is a very special lady that works there. Her name is Rose Sarnelli. And so when my mom was pregnant for me, she said, Rose, what's a good middle name for a little girl? And she said, well, Rose, of course. And so my mom said, well, yeah, that is a really good middle name. So, and then I'm also named after a great-grandmother, I believe. So it kind of works out on both sides. But yeah, we have some good significance there. So.
And I mean, it has a nice ring to it, Katelyn Rose.
Yeah, it definitely, most people already think that is my full name, so I always have to tell them, that's just my stage name, I go by the middle name, but it works out, so that way if I ever want to get married or anything like that, I can always keep the stage name.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so let's rewind. Take me back to the very beginning. How did you get into music?
Oh, boy. Well, honestly, I feel like, music's been a part of me my entire life. When I was a little girl, actually, even before that, I should say, my parents used to joke all the time, and they'll tell people when we go out and I do shows, they'll say, oh, when my mom was pregnant for me, she used to go with my dad, and they would sing at other people's weddings. Okay. And so they say that I get it, naturally. But
so your parents are musicians then?
They are, yes.
Oh.
So they both sing, both my mom and my dad. And my dad actually plays guitar, which is where I learned how to play. So.
All right. You're answering all the questions right off the bat. That's okay. So when did you start performing then?
I started when I was about, I'd say, playing out at 11 years old. And I think actually, no. I'm not going to say 11. I'm going to say probably maybe around 15, something like that. When I went to Connellsville High School, and I did start out doing musicals, and I had a lot of help from Mrs. Gail Cuneo, and also I did some other things as well. I'm trying to remember what my first show was. I played at Lion Square, and I want to say it was when I was about 15, and that was with Mr. Ben Haynes, I believe. Wasn't it? Was that the first show I did out?
Okay.
Okay, so
very
my
cool.
parents are just hanging out in the background, so I'm
Hey,
looking for information. They keep me straight. But yeah, so probably when I was about 15, I'd say, I think that was my very first show. And Mr. Ben Haynes had asked me, he had seen me do musicals, and he had seen me have, in chorus, I would be with Mrs. Cuneo. And when I was in about, I think, 7th, 8th grade, I believe it was, my grandmother had actually bought me my first guitar. I thought it was the best thing ever. She bought off a QVC for me. And it was an Esteban guitar. It had a pretty dove on the back. It was a dark blue, and it had all these gems. And I thought I was big stuff. So I didn't know anything about playing guitar, didn't know anything about nothing. So my dad would try to teach me a song, 3 chords, go in a circle, and if you could pick it up, then you felt like you were doing something. But I thought, I wanted to learn some stuff on my own. So, nowadays you have YouTube and things like that. And the one day I just started messing around and moving around my fingers, different strings, and I think I came up with a chord. So then I put that chord and the other 2 that I had learned together, and I wrote my first song, which was called Just Another Day.
How old were you when you wrote that?
Oh my God. 14, 15.
Do you perform that song still?
I haven't performed it in a long time, and honestly, I don't know if I would still remember what the chord was that I came up with that I had it, but it was a really good song, and I wrote the song. It was kind of that transition of, like going in between middle school to junior high, so it was all those nerves, and going into a bigger place with lots of other kids and new people, and it was kind of scary, and so and I was having a little bit of a struggle there in between, so it was like the whole becoming a teenager and everything like that. So but I wrote this song, and it was kind of like it was a part of me, but it was also writing it from another point of view, where it was like, hey, don't be afraid. Everything's going to be all right. It's just another day. So I wrote this song, and I finally got the guts, and I played it for a few of my friends, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's so great. You need to sing it for Mrs. Cuneo." So I'm like, "Okay, well." So we went to school the one day, and I had played it for her, and she cried, and all the kids that were my friends, and they were sitting there, and they're all crying, and I thought, "Oh my God, like, what did I do?"
Did something wrong. No.
I really thought, I'm like, oh man, like, I don't know if this is the reaction I should be getting. And they're like, no, this is wonderful. You need to be playing this for other people. And so after that, I kind of she was one of the ones that helped me really get out there and kind of find myself and figure out, that I need to be showing people the talent that I have. People need to see it. So I finally got a little bit more guts after that, started doing musicals, started getting used to more being on stage and not being afraid to get out there and show myself to people, and got to write more songs. And so yeah.
Am I correct in saying that you always write in a country style? I mean, that's primarily what you sing, correct?
Yes. So most of my songs, and I guess you could say with country music, a lot of the times when you hear country songs, they're all like a story. Most people associate it that way. It's a story. You're telling a story. And 99% of the time, most people always say, oh, it's about trucks, or it's about drinking, or it's about heartbreak, or yeah, you know what I mean? But it doesn't necessarily need to be that way. I mean, there was a lot of times where there was a lot of kids that I went to school with, and they were like, I don't like country music. And then I'd play them a song, and they're like, Katelyn, I don't like country music, but I like that, So, but I mean, it's for me, a lot of the stories, obviously, that I'm telling have a personal part on it. And I feel like now, well, being 23, then being about 15, you kind of learn a lot about songwriting and wanting to not only have a personal perspective on it, but you want to try and reach out to other people and show them, okay, like, I can take a part of this, or I can look at it from this perspective, and you can see it a completely different way. So, but it's neat. I've learned a lot along the way with songwriting and coming that far. But
yeah, so let's talk about the songwriting.
Sure.
How many original songs do you have now?
Oh my God.
A lot.
I don't even know. Some of them, honestly, I don't play anymore. And usually my mom or my dad is the one that's yelling at me because I don't play some of my older ones as often. And I feel like that's only because, like I said, I learn more and more. And I feel like,
well, and you're in a different place now too.
Yeah. And there's always people that'll ask you too, like, what's the favorite song of yours that you wrote? And I'm like, well, probably whatever I'm currently working on.
Yeah.
So but,
do you have a set process on how you go about writing a song?
I'll be honest with you, Chelsea, it's been a while since I've actually had an opportunity to sit down and write, because I've been so busy with work and with shows, especially with the band and things. Yeah. But I don't know. I guess it all is always different. When I used to write, I've written a lot of songs about my now fiance, was then boyfriend. So a lot of inspiration comes from him. I have written songs for friends before. Friends who maybe got their heart broke, because I really hadn't experienced too much of that. But I kind of put myself in their shoes and heard their stories, and I was like, oh, this really upsets me for you, and I feel like this would be a good song, like I kind of want Taylor Swift on a few things for a while, but but she was my idol for a good long time. So, but I always liked her songs because, again, she wrote hers from a perspective that was from her heart, and a lot of things that was important to her at the time, things that she was going through, stories. So
So I'm curious because I always, I'm writing songs now myself and doing this whole thing, and myself and my pianist, we kind of have a set formula and it works. So I'm curious, like, do you go off of vocal line first? Do you play something on your guitar? Like, sometimes you just hear something in your head. How does it work for you?
I've had different ideas come different ways. So there's been a few times where I've played things on guitar and I've liked the chord progression, and so I'd say, okay, like this would fit with this, or what's a good song that, in my mind, I try to think like, okay, what would be something that would be catchy? What would be something that, like, if I was to write a song, something that you would enjoy, something that I think that you would pick up on and you would have a personal touch, connection to. So, but I try to do something like that, and only because after I went to Nashville and I recorded my songs, and like I said, I learned a lot when I was down there, and you figure out, I'm sure figure out a lot of things.
It was like me whenever I was in New York City. You learn a lot about yourself and who you are as a musician. So.
Yeah. But in a way, it's good. Sometimes it's heartbreaking. Sometimes it's very honest. Sometimes it's very bluntly honest and more than you want to hear. But I'll tell you what, it's hard at the time, but it definitely teaches you a lot as far as how can I make this better, what can I learn from this, and where do I go from here.
So you just mentioned that you recorded in Nashville.
Yes.
So there's a lot of people, younger ones, that watch this show and they're like, I want to be a singer, I want to start a band, I want to record music. Could you walk me through the recording process and what it's like going to Nashville and being in a studio and recording tracks? I mean, take me through it all.
Okay, so I'm going to try my very best to get all the details for you here. So when I recorded my songs for the first time, it was the year after I graduated. I believe it was 2015. And so I would have been about 17, 18. And we went to Nashville. It was the very first time we had ever been down. So it was like, for somebody like me that loves music, it was like, oh my God, how much stuff do I get to see? What do we go to first, And then, but the whole purpose, of course, that we went down there was to record the songs. So we went to this place called Baird Music Studio Group. And the gentleman that runs it, his name is Larry Baird. And they are, I have to say, excellent, very wonderful, talented musicians, and just all around good people in general. They wouldn't steer you wrong, and it's hard, I'm sure to find people, especially in the music industry, that can be trustworthy. But I really liked these guys. I had a good feeling about them. They were honest. So we went there. And the very first day, actually, we had sent in all of my songs and all the lyrics, all the chords to each of them, and the audio tracks to each of them. So sent all that down ahead of time. So when we got there, we met up with them, and it was really funny because it was just, I'm thinking it's going to be this huge production of this huge building, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just this cute little house in the suburbs, across the railroad tracks in the middle of Nashville. It was really neat. So we go there, and, we went inside, sat down with Larry, but while we're walking inside, it was like a dream come true for me, because on the walls they had on one side all of the tracks that they had, and CDs that they had recorded for people like Carrie Underwood and Martina McBride, Luke Bryan's very first CD, like all these things. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like I am in the same studio, I'm standing where they stood. Yeah. It was just, that alone in itself, I thought was just really neat. I felt really blessed just to even be able to say that I could do something like that. And then on the other side of the wall, they had all these CDs as far as like tracks that they performed for movies. Like I think Fox and the Hound was on the wall. They did Varsity Blues, all kinds of stuff. But
this is all pre your band.
Yes.
So, like, you're just little you down there with your acoustic guitar,
yeah.
singing some tracks.
Yep. It was wild. It was so wild. But yeah, and it was just this small little place. There was pictures on the wall where Larry, the owner, had been sitting on the couch with Randy Travis playing songs. There was lyrics on the wall from Rascal Flatts' God Bless the Broken Road that, had extra verses on it that they took out. and just all kinds of stuff. But we sat down the very first day with Larry, and we went through the songs one by one. He asked me questions about all of them, and they did something called the Nashville Music Note System, which are you familiar with? Okay, so for somebody like me, now I can pick up the guitar and I can play a few chords. I'm not the best.
You're self-taught.
Yes.
Aside from your father teaching you some things, you're
yes.
primarily self-taught with guitars and vocals.
Yes, so I've never had any lessons. I don't know. I just know what I can hear and what I play. So that's and what I can learn from, watching other people or watching videos. So I'm not the best, but these guys know their stuff. And they did this Nashville Music Note System. Like I said, I sent down the songs and all the stuff, and they listened to it. But they also, he tracked all of these, and he'd say, he put numbers at each of the verses at the end. And I'm looking at it like, what in the world is this guy doing? Like, it just looks like chicken scratch. I don't know. But it's called the Nashville Music Note System, and basically he puts all these symbols and notes and everything there, and he gives it to the guys, each one of the musicians. They're all in separate rooms, and they play it like they've been playing it for years. Yeah. It's just absolutely amazing. Yeah. It just blew me away. And that's actually what we did the second day. We went down back to the studio. They had me go in the middle room, and I put the headphones on, and they said, okay, all we need you to do is just sing along to the music so we can hear what we're doing, and we're going to run some stuff past you so you can see if you like it or if you don't, and we'll, just mess around. So I put the headphones on, and I'm listening to my other buddy, Larry. He plays drums as well. And he's in the other room. We got a guy over here playing guitar, a guy in the same room with me playing piano and bass and all this stuff. And it comes together, and it's just magic. And I'm like, oh my God, is this mine? Did I write this? Are we sure? But it was really neat, really, really neat. And I can't explain it. It was just because, I'd never heard a full band sound with my songs before, so it was really a dream come true for me. But yeah, and they were very good about things as far as they'd say, hey, Katelyn, do you like this? Would you mind if we added some piano to this? And I'd say sure, and then they were very professional and very good about it. They genuinely cared and wanted it to be the best that they could. And so they would say, okay, so-and-so, you're playing this part on guitar, he would do it several times until he'd say, okay, I think that's the best that I can do. I'm going to keep that one, and so, but it was just really neat. And so after we got done doing the tracks, then it came time for the final day where we were going to go into the real deal studio. And it was... I remember it being very cold because, you go in through one door and then there's the small space in between the next door, and it's soundproof. And they were actually really nice. They actually brought me in a heater, and they had they were very accommodating. They were really sweet guys. But we recorded the tracks, and I remember we did 5. So we did just an EP, and I had done Kiss Me, Wild Rose, No Place Like Home, and You're Not My Superman, and Incredible Everything are the songs that we did.
If people wanted to hear all of these recordings, where can they go online to check this stuff out?
So if you wanted to purchase, or if you wanted just to listen to some of the music that we have, or that I have rather, you would go to, you can go to CatelynRoseBand.com, you can go to iTunes, Rhapsody, Google Play, Vivo, any CD Baby, any of those, and basically just look up my name, Katelyn Rose, and you should be able to find me on there. Like I said, there's 5 tracks. So as of right now, we'd love to get some more recorded here in the future, but...
And you mentioned you have the website.
Yes.
You have a Facebook page. What is the link to the Facebook page?
I'm not exactly sure at the top of my head what the link is. I think if you look up at Katelyn Rose 116, you should be able to find it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just so all of you all know out there, you can hop on Facebook, give her page a like, check out all of the music, and definitely hop onto her website. So let's talk about the band. The band is kind of a new thing within the past year.
Yes, so we've actually been doing it for about 2 years now, and it's been going very, very well, like extremely well. And we were lucky enough. I did a relay about, oh my gosh, maybe it was 3 years ago. Maybe 3 years ago now. Was it 2? I'm yelling at my mom again in the audience. She keeps, like I said, she keeps me on track. But anyway, so we did this relay, and it was actually for a family friend. And while I'm there was another band that was playing, and that's where I met, and who you'll see here in a few minutes, Mr. Billy Stope, who's going to be playing with me today. Yeah. Yes, he is. He plays
lead guitar. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
But we actually started doing some acoustic shows together, and we were trying to find a bunch of guys that we could get together as a good group that we could have a band. And so we eventually found our bass player, who was from Greensburg, and his name was Bob Comito. We since then, unfortunately, we loved Bob. He actually got a job promotion. He had to move to North Carolina, so we missed him. But we were lucky, and we were blessed enough that we found another gentleman who coincidentally reminds me so much of Bob. And so it was like, because I was very upset whenever Bob left. He was a really good friend, not just, part of the band, but also a really good friend to me. And that's another thing that's so important to me in having this band and all these members, is that it's not just, we're not just playing music. I like to make sure that we have that relationship and that everybody gets along and everybody's on the same page. And I can come back to that, but we also, but the gentleman that I was telling you that we replaced with Bob, his name is Greg Barton. He's from New Stanton, and we love him very much. I'll have to introduce you sometime. And then our drummer is Andrew Lenhart, and he's from Myersdale. So just shout them guys out there. But they're all really great guys, all very talented, dedicated, loyal. And we have a good time. Everybody has the same goal, and we want the same things, which is very important to me. And I know that I can count on each of them. So
let's talk about the shows. Where do you guys typically play?
We've been trying to get out and about as many places as we can. Obviously, for my hometown, we've been trying to get more into the Connellsville area. We played at the Polish Club. I'd like to see about getting into the Paint Room next year. But we've done many fairs. We were at the Fayette County Fair this year. We've played at several places in Myersdale. We did Summerfest this year again. Trying to think of some of the other ones at the top of my head. We usually have shows about every Saturday. I haven't had too many Saturdays off, which
I know how that feels.
Sometimes it's tiring, but at the same time, after you get done with the show, it's really rewarding, and it feels like you got some hard work done. You know what I mean? Yeah. We actually just had a show this past Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so it was a rough weekend to say the least. Mm-hmm. But Friday night we were at Jennerstown Speedway. We did a show there. The next day we went to the Myersdale Legion. And this past Sunday, we went to Shade Central City Heritage Days. And all three places, I'm very proud to say, we had nothing but good things said and compliments, and each one wanted us back. So we're very happy, and like I said, I'm very proud of me and of my band.
Yeah. So you do a combination of covers and originals, correct?
Yes. We try to do a little bit of everything. So we do country primarily. Yeah. We try to do a little bit of classic soft rock and mix that in there because we get different crowds. Yeah. And then every once in a while too, we'll do some old country and throw it in. But yes, and then we do original music as well. My original music.
Awesome. Lovely. And so do those guys help you write any of the original music, or is it primarily just you right now hashing it out?
It's primarily just me. Yeah. I've actually, to be quite honest with you, I've never written a song with anybody else before. Yeah, people have asked me, and I've been very flattered, but I don't really have the experience with writing with anybody else, only because I guess maybe, and I don't know if you're used to songwriting, and I know you've co-written with other people. See, I've always, whenever I was growing up, I always wanted other people to write with me, and no one would ever take me up on the offer. So I just kind of got to the point where I was like, okay,
do it myself.
Yeah, I'll do it myself, But most of the time, whenever I would ask, it was like friends that were in school, and they just didn't want bothered with it. Yeah. But I don't know. And now I've kind of gotten to the point where it's like I have I have a certain plan in mind of how I want the song to go, and certain way that I want to build it. You know what I mean? Piece everything together. And so I guess maybe I'm a little greedy that way that you know what I mean? But at the same time,
if it works, it works.
Yeah,
So.
I would be open to the idea of possibly doing a co-write with somebody. I guess I would just have to try it because like I said, I've never done it before, so I wouldn't know how to go about it.
Well, for all of you out there watching, hit up Katelyn Rose. Maybe you guys can write a song together, do a duet. I don't know.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, you sing a duet with somebody. Why not? It'd be great. Katelyn, is there anything else you would like to add?
I don't think so. I'll probably think of it after the fact, and then, you know what I mean, how it goes.
You can plug it when you're singing your songs.
That'll work.
Thank you so very much for coming out tonight.
Absolutely.
You were lovely to talk to. I liked getting to know your story because I didn't really know much about it. So thank you for coming out tonight. Everyone, we will be right back after the break. Be sure to come back because they're going to play a half-hour set.
Dude, what is up with your house?
Oh, it's cool. My parents just got Zoom.
I've been cheated, been mistreated. When will I be loved? I've been put down, I've been pushed round. When will I be loved? When I find a new man, better one for me. He always breaks my heart in two. It happens every time. I've been made blue. I've been lied to. When will I be loved? When I find a new man, better one for mine. He always breaks my heart in two. It happens every time. I've been cheated, been mistreated. When will I be loved? When will I be loved? Tell me, when will I be loved? Thank you.
Hey guys, I would like to take a minute. I know some of you might have just got here, but I'd like to introduce you to Billy Stoke, who's accompanying me on guitar this evening. Please give him a nice round of applause.
I was working through college on my grandpa's farm. He was thirsting for knowledge, and he had a car. I was caught somewhere between a woman and a child. One restless summer we found love growing wild on the banks of a river on a well-beaten path. It's funny how those memories last. Strawberry wine, 17 had to go. A few cards and letters and one long distance call. We drifted away like the leaves in the fall. Year after year I come back to this place just to remember the taste. Strawberry wine, 17, hot July moon, saw everything. The first taste of love was bittersweet, the green on the vine. Like strawberry wine. The fields have grown over now, years since they seen the plow. There's nothing time hasn't touched. Is it really him or the loss of my innocence? I've been missing so much. Like strawberry wine, 17, the hot July moon, saw everything. The first taste of love was bittersweet, the green on the vine. Like strawberry wine. Like strawberry wine. Like strawberry wine. Thank you. We're gonna throw it on back a little bit here. My grandma would know this song. It's one of her favorites. Today's her birthday. Crazy, I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy. I'm crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you'd love me as long as you wanted. And then someday you'd leave me for somebody new. Worry, why do I let myself worry? Wondering what in the world did I do? I'm crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying. I'm crazy for crying. And I'm crazy for loving you. Crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying. I'm crazy for crying. And I'm crazy devour love than you.
Thank you. All right. We're gonna try this one. We haven't done this one in a while, so be kind. I'm gonna try not to mess it up.
I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. Again, you feel to eat, but always keep that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. If you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might mean taking chances if they're worth taking. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth making. Don't let some helping heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. If you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. If you get the choice to sit it out or dance, dance. I hope you 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 dance.
Now, some of you might know this one from Fleetwood Mac, or some of you might know this one from the Dixie Chicks. So, whichever. Still a really good song. I hope you like it. This is Landslide.
I took my love and I took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills where the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above time makes you bolder. Even children get older, and I'm getting older too. So take this love and I take it down. And if you climb a mountain and you turn around, and if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills where the landslide brought me down, and if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, maybe. Well, maybe. Well, maybe. The landslide will bring you down. Thank you. Yeah, let's do it. We're gonna move around a little bit here. It was about 5 to 5 on Friday. We were all getting ready to go. The boss man started screaming, and his face began to show. He said, "You and you come with me. Sure, you're gonna have to stay." My heart was thumping, I was jumping. I had to get away. Some days you gotta dance. Live it up when you get the chance. 'Cause when the world isn't making no sense and you're feeling just a little too tense, gotta loosen up those chains and dance. Well, I was talking with my baby over a small glass of tea. He asked a loaded question. He said, "How do you feel about me?" My mind was racing, I was pacing, but the words just wouldn't come. There was only one thing left to do. I feel it coming on. Some days you gotta dance. Live it up when you get the chance. 'Cause when the world isn't making no sense and you're feeling just a little too tense, gotta loosen up those chains and dance. Yeah, show what you got, Billy. Some days you gotta dance. Live it up when you get the chance. 'Cause when the world isn't making no sense and you're feeling just a little too tense, gotta loosen up those chains and dance. You gotta loosen up those chains and dance. Come on, loosen up those chains and dance.
Stream live and recorded content anywhere with EXP from Armstrong. Stay connected to the content you love. With the all-new EXP app, you can browse and manage your shows and set recordings for TV shows, movies, and series. Plus, you can stream your favorite networks directly from your DVR or with TV Everywhere. At home, the app also lets you transform your device into a second TV screen or remote control. Your content, your way, when you want it. EXP from Armstrong.
Since we're going to start the beginning on this one here, this is a song that is one of mine. It's an original. It's called Kiss Me. And it is playing on Froggy Radio, so if you're somebody who listens to that, you might hear it every now and again. I owe a lot to those guys because they were the first ones who actually put my songs on the radio. So that was a big moment for me and very special. The gentleman that actually helped me out with that, he's no longer at the station. He's at a different one now. His name is Dave Russell. But shout out to you, Dave. Thank you very much. But yeah, this song that you're going to hear, like I said, it's an original of mine. It's a really cool story that I now have behind it. When I first wrote this song, I totally made it up out of the blue. I figured, this would be a good idea for a love song. I feel like a lot of girls would really, like catch this, and they would really kind of relate to it and have their own perspective. I kind of just pulled it out of a rom-com and was like, this sounds like a good idea. But the funny thing about it is, I will say, back just this past May, I got engaged. So I now have a fiance after 9 years of dating. And it's really cool because the way that he proposed to me was very similar to how I wrote this song. And it's kind of funny because I thought he did it on purpose. Like, I thought that he knew my song, listened to it, and was like, I'll just reenact this and, ask her this way. But he had no plan at all, which I'm really glad that he did it because it was really sweet the way that he did it. But you'll hear in the song a little bit about kind of how he proposed to me. So hope you guys like this song. It's called Kiss Me. Ready? Take two.
Baby, why don't we go for a drive? The night is young and I'm feeling alive. Take a turn down this old dirt road. Not ready to go home. There's a place up here past all the lights. Dark enough you can see the stars shine. If you want, we can sit on the tailgate, or we can dance the night away. Chest and hold me close, or if you're not the dancing kind, baby, that's fine. Just pull a blanket out of the back. We can lay down in the tall grass. If you want, we can watch the sunrise, or we can close our eyes. Turn the headlights on in your truck, windows down and the radio. Oh. Thank you. Alrighty, and I think we got, what, one more? One more. It's a circle. We circle back around again. Well, this next one we're gonna. What? Oh my goodness. Excuse me. Okay, so this next song that we're gonna do, I actually wrote for a friend of mine who's from Connellsville. Her name is Miss Lori Grinko, and I'm gonna give you a shout out, Lori. And she asked me to write a song. The one day I was on Facebook, and I was like, all right, you know, like I need some different suggestions. I've written the love songs. I've written these songs, you know, like give me a different kind of idea, you know, like something I can roll with here. And so Lori said, write me a song that I can drink to. Well, guess what, guys? I don't drink too often. Every now and then I enjoy Billy knows I enjoy a nice glass of wine or something like that. But I don't know what it is. When I think of alcohol, I associate it with the beach. So, I don't know, I thought about, okay, pina coladas, margaritas, you know, things like that. So I was like, oh, I could do something fun and upbeat, you know, kind of, she would like this. And so, and I know she loves the beach. She constantly wears flip-flops. I don't think I've ever seen the woman wear tennis shoes. So, and like me, she has an office job. And sometimes I know, and if you have an office job, then you know what it's like. Sometimes it can be, you know, like, oh, all day long, you're getting bored, you know. And so one day I was thinking, like, I'm just going to write a song going through the days of the week and, you know, like what most people would be thinking, like, why am I not at the beach? You know, like, as I'm going through thinking about this, like, what could I be doing at the beach? All these things. So here's a song that I guess you could drink to and also is fun and upbeat. So I hope you like it. It's called Daydream at the Beach. You ready? Okay. Monday again. I'm wondering why the hell I'm not at the beach. With my shades on my face and my feet in the sand. My bikini laid back with something cold in my hand. But I know it's probably 'cause I'm broke. I could be on a hammock neath a coconut tree, sipping on a margarita with the Hawaiian breeze blowing through my hair. And I'm stuck here in this dang office chair. Well, I need a little tropical TLC, little H2O and vitamin D. All night, and I probably never live. At least that's what I see in my daydream at the beach. Wednesday's finally here, and I'm halfway there. Thank God I'm about to lose my mind. And I'm plotting ways to get out of this place. Maybe hide on a boat as a stowaway to Cancun. Never been on a cruise, Billy. Well, I need a little tropical TLC, little H2O and vitamin D. Tanning oil and flip-flops on my feet. Dance all night, and I'd probably never live. At least that's what I see in my daydream at the beach. Alright, you ready? Let's break it down. Well, if I make it to the end of this week, I'll leave all my troubles behind me. And I'll make it more than just a daydream.
Katelyn, excellent originals. Thank you so very much for coming out tonight. It was lovely. Everyone out here, we enjoyed all of it. For those of you out there, if you liked her original songs, you can hop onto her website. Are they on your Facebook page?
Yes, they are.
On the Facebook page, you can look her up on YouTube under Katelyn Rose. Basically, type in Katelyn Rose anywhere, and it'll pop up, and you can hear all of these songs all over again. Once again, thank you very much to both of you. You are fantastic. Absolutely, it was my pleasure. Everyone out there, that's a wrap for tonight. But we will be back next week with a brand new episode, so be sure to tune in. Until then, have a lovely evening, and we'll see you later. Bye.